God kill me. Okay, you ready for this, love?
I'm ready.
I'm not, but let's do it anyways.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to ChatGayPT, ChatGayPT,
Sorry,
the talk show where we answer all of your burning questions that ChatGPT doesn't know how to answer. I'm Adrien Field.
And I'm Miss Velvet, the Jessica Rabbit from AliExpress.
Oh yeah, and I'm the Freddie Mercury from Wish, apparently. Alright, so in today's episode we're going to be talking about something that is very important to all gay men, basically, that there's no possible to what?
Pretty common as well. I think.
Yeah, common to everybody, but I mean with some specific gayness as well, and that is apps.
Not abs, because of course, I mean, you have them. I used to have them. Now with the corsets, no, but apps, PPS.
Apps. So basically, this all has changed dating or hooking up, whatever. I remember when Grindr came out, I was 19 years old. I was living in New York City at the time, and I read about it in Details magazine, which also dates me because Details is no longer. And it was an article called The Gay Bar in Your Pocket. And I was like, oh, I'm going to download this app. And it changed everything for me. Like,
the clinics can confirm that. It changed everything for them too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, there's so much to unpack with this. I mean, specifically Grindr, but then obviously we're going to talk about all of the other apps that are out there. But I feel like there's the most to talk about with Grindr because it's the one that just
it's the most common one. It's the
one that everybody uses. Where do we start with this, Velvet?
Oh boy! So So we're starting to unpack with Grindr. Let's start with Grindr. Put the logo on. Put the sign. Whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to.
Can I just say also, this is like one of the most proud or like a moment that I like to share is that the creator of Grindr hit on me on Grindr.
Oh my god.
When I was like 21 years old, because he lived in my neighborhood when I lived in LA, and I recognized him, and this is also going to get me in trouble, but he's not, okay, let me say it in like the most politically correct way possible. He's not my type.
Let's try to not be cancelled now.
Yeah, but I was like, wow, he's the founder of Grindr. Like, that's a super ego-boosting kind of thing. Well, and you and I were at a party where
exactly.
he was
He bought me drinks as well. 1 month ago, 2 months ago. He bought us goddamn drinks.
So we have...
Like, the drinks were free, but still, he brought us the drinks. Never mind.
Nonetheless, we obviously have like a very intimate connection with Grindr, and I can thank Grindr.
Not by choice, okay? Not by choice.
No, but it is by choice. I would say like Grindr is accountable for like 95% of the hookups and things that I've experienced.
I mean, he's responsible for around 50% of the friendships that I have as well.
Yes, I mean, so that's the thing actually. This is a good point to start out with. You know, Grindr can be used in any kind of way that you want it. Obviously, it has the reputation of being a hookup app, and a lot of people do use it for that, but there's anything like that can come of it, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a friendship. I've had networking, and I'm not joking about this. When I had my first business,
I've had gigs booked because of Grindr.
Yeah,
that was fun. We started chatting.
So when I had my business in India, I remember there was a guy that messaged me, and he's like, "If you ever need a supplier in India, like here I am." He ended up being someone that I went into business with, and never hooked up with him. Like it was just a connection from Grindr. My friend has bought like a golf cart from some person on Grindr. Like it could be classified ads. It could be
Did the balls come included?
Probably. I mean, but that's the point. Is like Grindr can be anything. It's just an app to make connections, and you do with that what you will. Whether you want to then like send a dick pic and hook up right away, or you want to have a conversation, you want to meet. It can go in any direction.
It really depends on your intentions, of course. Grindr, I think it's the one that gives you the most options out of all of the apps that are out there, because other apps, we specifically put them in a certain category of what we want to achieve. But Grindr still is kind of like this vague, open ocean where you can do whatever you want. If you're looking for a relationship, networking, friendships, or even just rent an apartment, I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who are like literally putting on their profile like looking for a room. I mean, you just texted with one of them the other day when you were here at my apartment. He's like, "I'm looking for a sugar daddy. Do you have any money?"
You remember that one? He was super cute, and he was like, "Are you sugar?" I'm like, "No, honey, I'm salt. I have sugar, but I'm not a daddy." "Oh, sorry, I'm not interested." "Well, good for you."
But that's the point. It's like you use it for whatever you want to use it for.
You also can apply the same to a knife. You can either chop the food that feeds you or kill somebody.
What I like about Grindr is the immediacy of it. As opposed to, for example, Tinder or the other apps that we'll talk about. It's like people are on there at the moment because they want something, whether that's a conversation, whether it's sex. Like it's going to happen in a more, fast and immediate way than when you're like...
People are paying more attention to that app.
Yeah, because they're literally on it at that moment. They're like, all right, here I am, ready to have a conversation. Whereas, Tinder or Bumble or Hinge or whatever.
No, they
It's
just
more
open it
like
like once a day,
exactly
if even.
if that, and then like if they even deign to respond. But
So, for how many years have you had Grindr actually?
almost my whole gay adult life. So
How
from
old were you?
19
19.
to now, which is more years than I want to like exactly reveal. But like
Legal,
I
that's all we need
came
to
of
know.
age in Grindr. Like the very first few people that I ever hooked up with, I had to go out to a gay bar and meet them in real life. When I
Mm-hmm.
was 18 years old, I had a fake ID, or I guess I came out as gay when I was like around 18, right before 19. So I got a fake ID. I was in New York City and I went to this dive bar on the Lower East Side, and that's where I met the first guy that I lost my virginity to at just like face to face at a bar. But because I came of age with Grindr and I only probably hooked up with 3 people before I downloaded Grindr, I never had to develop the social skills that like older gays have where they can just go to a bar and like pick up somebody. Like that would be so hard for me nowadays because I feel more comfortable with Grindr
Yeah.
and
It's even better for
initiating.
introverts as well. It's a great tool for introverts too.
Exactly, because I don't. You probably maybe have a different strategy on Grindr than I do, but I like to put everything out there. Like I put my all my pictures out there, my face, etc. So if you're into me, then you're gonna message me. I like it's like casting a fishing line and seeing what comes to me, but I almost never like almost never make the first step to initiate
Mm-hmm.
conversation. So I wait to see what comes my way because then at least I have this confirmation they're interested in me,
Hmm,
you know?
okay. So you never are the one initiating conversations, you'd never
No,
tap first.
no.
Oh boy,
I'm
that's.
also I hate taps, but that's a side note.
I mean, I've had Grindr. My relationship with Grindr was a little bit different. I was super against Grindr because I was one of those, I'm not gonna say a conservative gay, kinda, but
Well,
it
look at
was
you
my
now.
first. Well, next question. I told you it was a downhill from now. They say it gets better. No, honey. I'm not sure better is the word, but hey, it gets something for sure, even if it's a rash. So I think I had Grindr from my first year in Ireland, so that was around 2017, 2018.
Okay.
I don't even know how old I was. I don't want to do the math because I'm too restrained from my corset now, so it's not gonna happen. But it was even a friend of mine that got my phone when I went to the toilet, and he was so sick of me saying that I was not able to find anybody. We were in Dublin, so there are very limited clubs there, and I was not liking the kind of people that I was meeting. So I was always complaining, and he was like, "Bitch, I'm gonna download Grindr on your phone," and he did. And when I returned from that goddamn toilet, I already had a profile. I don't know even with what pictures, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So my relationship with Grindr was a little bit like, let's see how it goes. Let's blah blah blah. And I didn't want any hookups. I just wanted to start finding love. Oh boy, I was so naive. I
I
was
mean, I
just a
was too in
baby.
a sense. Like when I started with Grindr, that
19.
I was not so comfortable with the idea of just like meeting someone and hooking up because I wasn't comfortable with that, as a person, like let
Yeah.
alone with Grindr. But that's I don't know. It's so interesting because I feel that like we've said, you can use this app for anything, and you never even know if someone that you just have a hookup with could turn into
A
a
potential something.
relationship.
Yeah, no.
Like this has happened to me with a guy that I met actually here in Lisbon. We were talking, and it was like going to be pure sex. So I was already waiting for him naked, like on my bed. He came over. We I didn't know his name until after we had finished, but there was like a
Common.
connection, there was chemistry, and then that turned into us kind of like dating, So even something can start out as like a pure, raw, carnal, sexual encounter, and because we're gay men, like you never know where that might lead to.
But nowadays, there's also another thing. Usually, hookups in gay culture in general, they're so focused on like the animal side that we forget the intimate side. So when you have the intimacy, when you have the touch, the like cherishing somebody, really making kind of love, nearly that. So it's like a surprise to both ends, to both parties. So
Yeah, I
you can
mean,
either follow through that or just do what I do, which is like, see you next time.
but what is your grinder strategy? So, I mean, what is your profile
Strategy.
like? And I
Girl, I
mean,
just use it when I'm bored lately nowadays. You're asking me that? I don't know. I should be the one taking notes, actually.
that's
Okay,
true,
hold on.
actually. I think that I have all of the information on this because I have quite a successful
I
grinder
know
profile,
what
if I say so
doesn't make
myself.
a great profile. I know what I don't like to see. I don't know
Tell
what.
me about that.
Okay, so first up, let's start with the faceless profiles, okay? You can be ugly. You can be discreet, you can be whatever, but not a faceless one. If you don't have a face,
It's not
send
just
one straight away.
Yes, I mean that's an obvious. If you have a blank profile, a faceless profile, I don't want to just see your abs. I don't want to see flowers. I don't want to see some random thing.
Yeah,
Like
like
your
a
first
hill.
message,
They say
if you are
Windows
faceless,
98.
it needs to be your face right away. Because if you message me, I can't see your face, and you say, "Hey, whatever," it's an immediate block for me. I'm not even gonna ask. Don't make me fucking ask for a
Nope,
face pic.
nope,
Like this
nope.
is 20. What year are we in? 2024 now.
I'm still
Grindr's
stuck
been
in 2020.
Grindr's been out for over 15 years. Like this is basic etiquette, and this is something that just drives me insane.
He's
What are
getting
you?
triggered, oh my
I'm
god.
no, I'm getting so triggered because, as I said, no, I put it all out there. So I have you. My Instagram is linked. You know, all my face pictures are there. You can. I'm not hiding anything. So it really annoys me because I do get a lot of messages, like, don't take up my mental real estate with your faceless profile. It's just wasting my time. You're not going to get an answer. If your profile's faceless, I need a picture right away. And not only that, but like put out your stats. I want to know how tall you are. I want to know if
Single.
you're fat. You know, I need to know so I can calculate the body mass index. If you're like 5'10 and you're 130 pounds or 180 pounds or whatever, I need to know what I'm working with here if I can't see the body. Because sometimes people can be very like, catfishing situations where it's like they have their shirt on or just the face and you can't really tell what's going on. And then
Or hats.
it just leads to disappointment. Like, it's better to put it all out there and be your true self and get rejected for that than to like show up at someone's house and have them reject you face to face. Like, I don't know if that's ever happened with
Like
you
walking
or...
outside the door, just going for a walk and never coming up again.
Yeah, we don't need to actually ever bring up that story ever again. I would like to forget that. But that's the only time that's happened to me. However, the inverse has happened where I've met someone
Oh
who
god.
did not match the pictures. And it's like you're in this very awkward situation then where you have to dismiss them. And I would prefer just to avoid that by seeing exactly what it is that you're offering.
So rule number 1, show yourself. If you don't match, you don't match. But
Reveal
there is always a
yourself.
match. There's always a match to everyone. There's always people that have even no standards. So, obviously. So it's gonna be fine, but please do show yourself. So rule number 2, what would you say it is?
I mean, know how to take good pictures of yourself, and I get it. Obviously, not everybody has a great photographic aesthetic, not everybody knows, but, like, take some pictures of yourself and figure out what's good lighting, what's your angles, but just taking, like, okay, one of my pet peeves is, middle-aged guys, they have the kind of, like, phone case that opens up like this, like a book.
Whoa,
And,
yeah.
like, they'll take a mirror selfie or whatever with their, like, flip open thing, and it's just, you look so stupid. You may as well be wearing, like, a cell phone belt clip or something, It just looks really dumb.
Consider those.
It's a big turnoff, So, yeah, really put your best foot forward with your photos. Get good lighting. You don't obviously need to hire
Do you
a
know what is
professional
a trigger to
photographer.
me?
But what?
People that only have photos in a group of friends. I'm like, which one of you am I speaking now?
Do you find that though?
Jesus.
Like that's more of a Tinder thing than a Grindr thing. It's
Not
very
only.
rare that you're gonna like put.
No,
someone-
in Tinder there are many more like this, but in Grindr as well, it triggers me so much. Perhaps because I've been triggered so much by Tinder, even more than Grindr. But we'll get to that in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I feel with Grindr, it's already rare for them to put their own face, like let alone put their friends' faces on their Grindr account.
And do you mind when people just send you dick pics without saying hi? Or any
Well,
nudes in general? Not
I
only dick
love
pics.
dicks, so I will never turn
Obviously.
down a dick pic, even if it's it doesn't offend me, like nothing offends me. You can send me your asshole, you can send me your dick.
If I can see your face, it's...
I mean, I prefer to see the face first.
Me too.
But what I like is to see everything all at once. Show me your face, show me your body, show me everything,
Yeah, just
and then
get
I
it-
can make an informed
So we
decision.
don't lose time, honey.
Yeah, I can make then an informed decision. I mean, on my profile, yes, I accept not safe for work
She's on a
pictures.
run. She has places to go. Send it all straight away.
Yeah, I mean, just put it out there and be honest. Like in my album, I put it all out there as well, but I wouldn't lead a conversation like that.
No, yeah.
I really prefer, especially, it depends on, the level of attraction, the level of interest. Nowadays, I was just talking to a guy on Grindr the other day, and I said, look, I'm really trying to be less of a whore. So, because he asked for my album, and I'm like, I would rather not send it. I would rather meet in person now, feel the vibe. So I'm also sort of changing my Grindr strategy these days because I don't necessarily want just like an immediate show up at my house.
Yeah, random hookups straight away.
I'm
Just
not
focus on the arrows.
I'm not opposed to it. Like if a
No,
great
nothing
dick,
against,
if a
but
great dick comes along, hot guy, and that's what they're looking for, and I'm in the mood in that moment, sure. But it's sometimes you think like, oh, this person would be better as a friend. Like something about the way that they look or their profile or whatever, you know.
Oh, for example, the other day, I think 2 or 3 days ago, I kind of had a grinder date from a guy that is visiting. Really handsome, amazing body, amazing everything. But we decided to meet first for a drink, so we went to have that drink. And we decided, okay, actually, it's not going to be a good match sexually, but it has been fun to meet you. So that was it as well.
But you know, yeah, that could lead to a friendship. Like all those things are also good. Again, Grindr's just a way to meet people, and then you do with it what you
I mean,
will.
nowadays, the way that society has evolved, it's very difficult to meet somebody in real life. It's easier to try to meet new people through apps.
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to meet
Because
somebody in your
nowadays,
day to
like
day life?
that old story, oh, we met at a museum or we met at a cafe, it doesn't work that way nowadays, honey. You do not ask queer people how did they meet,
Yeah,
how
no,
have they
this
met.
is a I actually had to
Do
yell.
not ask a gay guy that.
I had a dinner party at my house with the guy that I was dating and then two straight friends, and she asked us how do we meet, and I said to her,
The straights
I
are
said to
so
her,
cute.
you never ask that question to a gay couple because the answer is obvious, but it's like it's kind of embarrassing to admit, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know
we met
why.
through an
Do you feel like there's still a stigma to say like, oh yeah, we met on Grindr?
There is, because people usually only associate Grindr with sex, basically. It's like, and it's kind of true. It's like looking for a fairy tale in a brothel, you know?
Yeah, I mean
You're looking for the fairy tale, for romance in a whorehouse.
Yeah, we're looking for love
Generically
in a hopeless
speaking.
place. So
Come on, Rihanna, release that shit already. I still kind of prefer to meet people first. I have nothing against meeting people through apps or saying that I met them via apps. I even have ex-boyfriends that I met through apps, but perhaps that's why they're exes now. I don't know
no,
what
but
to
come
say
on,
about
just
that. But
everybody is on Grindr, so
everybody's on.
you can't judge
Nearly
and,
everybody's
and
on
be
Grindr. Yeah,
like
95%.
and think that you know
Or head
everybody's
Grindr,
there
that is.
for only one thing. I think that we're all open to anything in life necessarily. It's just like the right person comes along at the right time. And as I said, it can start out as just a hookup, and then it can lead into something else. So you never know.
So, what is the most common message that you receive on Grindr, or that people ask you?
Well, here it's always they always start the same tudo bam, and I'm like, yeah, tudo bam, bitch. Like, give me something more. You know, I hate these very banal conversations.
Yes, that's so tiring.
It's like
Just
it's
like,
always
how's
the
it
same
going?
thing.
Okay, and you.
Like it needs to. What would get my attention besides a great dick is like a decent message. You know, even if you ask me like tudo bam, what's up, what like give me a
Give me
bit
something
more.
else.
Give me more context that
Give
we
me
can build a
something.
conversation off of. Because with just tudo bam, I cannot build a conversation from this.
Yes, I realize that many conversations actually die at the beach, as we say in Portugal.
No, but I actually 100% agree with that because this Portuguese guy that you know all about, the one that I just went through this whole thing with, so we met on Grindr, and it started the exact same way, like a tudo bam kind of thing, and I ignored him for months because I was like, well,
There
this
was nothing else
conversation
to talk.
is not going anywhere. And
Whenever
look
he was
and
on, he taps you and he's like, "Hey, how was your day?"
it
or
was this
something.
kind of thing, like give me something, please. Give me
Stimulus.
some
Stimulate me.
conversation. Like I feel people don't know how to make a conversation anymore. It's not just because we're on like Grindr that you have to be so lame. You know, give me some
It is.
personality, please. I need personality.
He's really triggered by this, y'all, and I'm loving to see
I
this
mean,
streak of
Grindr.
you.
I could write a book on Grindr probably. Like it has been such an
Encyclopedia.
integral part of my life,
Favorite.
and I have to say, Grindr is something that is really important to our community as well.
It is.
You know, I moved here from Bali, and Grindr is banned in Indonesia. But, you know, when you're in a, let's say, a Muslim country, a conservative country, or whatever, where they don't really have many gay bars or opportunities for gays to meet, Grindr is one of the only ways you can meet people. So, for
So
example,
Grindr
in
is
Indonesia,
banned.
it's
How did
banned,
they-
but they access it through a VPN. What's your thought on Grindr Extra, paying for Grindr, all this?
Ooh, I mean, it really depends if you want on the filters that you kind of want to use, if you can, or where you live. Because in some of the places, some of the cities, you might not be as lucky as we are in Lisbon. Your grid is not going further from 150 meters if you're in Lisbon. There are a lot of gays around. But if you are not so lucky to live in some other place and you have to use different filters or something, it can be a great app. Or if you just want to expand your grid to the furthest with the
Or
filters
just
that
use
you're on.
Grindr without ads. I think that was the biggest point. I've been paying for Grindr
Oh, I keep
extra.
forgetting that they have the ads now. It's so annoying.
It's yeah, I mean I've been paying for years
God.
just because I can't deal with the ads, you know? And I realize though, I think that a lot of cheap people don't pay for Grindr and so maybe they use it in a different way because they're like so bombarded by ads which pop up like every 3 seconds that like
Literally.
they're not able to have as consistent of a conversation as
And
I
it's so
am.
annoying because you need to press this exactly small square, and if you touch any place else, it's opening the fucking AliExpress link.
Yeah, so I think this actually really
Jesus.
affects how people use it, right?
It's offensive even, not during Pride Month.
But you know, like it's really worth it to pay for it in my opinion. Like imagine how much it would cost to go out, you know, buy a few drinks. Like Grinder.
To get nothing, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, if you measure like okay, it's $15 a month for Netflix, $15 a month for Grinder. Which one provides me with more entertainment? I would say Grinder provides me with way more entertainment than Netflix.
Not for me, though. Not for me. It even doesn't help my anxiety. I've been trying to take a small hiatus from apps in general. Of course, it's not going great. Don't ask me that question. But I've been trying to distance myself from apps in general because I feel like I'm starting to reach like that wall where nothing is going forward. I'm so done with random hookups. I don't get like excited about those anymore. Not willing to go through the cheap ass conversations, the how's it going? So I'm so
Yeah.
done with those. So I've just been focused on my work. If anybody comes to chat, it better fucking have a nice conversation, but I'm not gonna follow through again.
Well, how do you feel about these other apps like
Oh
Tinder,
boy.
Bumble, Hinge, whatever that the other people use for like more, you know, relationship type
I mean,
connections?
I also have Tinder, and I have to say, Tinder is the most disappointing app out there because it's even harder to have a conversation there.
Agree.
It's like you're even lucky if you even get a reply from somebody who matches you. Or if they send a reply, it's gonna be two replies and that's it, gone. Now.
It's such a waste of time. I mean, I have met like one or two people from Tinder
And it's not a
that
problem
ended
of the
up
app, it's a
being
problem of the people using it.
yeah, which is crazy. It's like you're on Tinder because you think you're like you want more of a relationship, but then the people who are actually willing to put in the like effort to make a conversation and God forbid to even meet is like such a small percentage. You know, and I feel like Tinder is the biggest waste of time because you have to be active on it. You have to be like going through
Oh
left,
boy,
right, left,
yeah.
right. At least with Grindr, as I said, it's like throwing out a fishing line, seeing what comes to you, and then you make a conversation. But with Tinder, you've got to be doing that damn swiping
You gotta
all the
be
time,
active on it.
and it doesn't really pay off
So
for
you
the
just wanna
amount
be
of
the
time
passive.
invested. So I actually deleted my Tinder a couple months ago, and I feel like whatever. If you want to find me, you can find me on Grindr, and I have no qualms about it.
I mean, I'm reaching the point where I'm about to delete my Tinder because I haven't even opened it in like 2 weeks' time, if not more. And I'm just so tired of keep like scrolling nonstop without anything coming
You
through.
know, I had scrolled to the end of Lisbon.
And then people matching.
I literally
Yeah.
scrolled to the end of Lisbon. Like there was nobody
Boy, you
left. It
do
was
have a
like
lot of free time.
I have too much free time, and there's not enough like
Gays
people that
around.
are apparently compatible with me in Lisbon. That where I get to that
Right.
literal end of the rope, and I'm like, okay, bottom of the barrel now. Is there anything left in here? And nothing.
Get the scrubs, get the scrubs.
Have you had any experience with other apps that you would recommend, or you?
Well, it depends on what you want. I've tried Scruff as well, but obviously I do not fall into the category of being the twink that I
You're
am.
not really looking too scruffy at the
No,
moment.
no, and I don't really like Scruffy myself as well, so I don't know. I was just trying it out of boredom, I suppose. But there is another one that I kind of enjoy, but I also use it not only for sex. I actually don't use it for sex. It's Fat Life, and it's basically focused on fetishes and fantasies. And of course, there's a big community in Fat Life, but it's a very small community still compared to other apps. And it's super, super focused. Like, it's so much more freeing. You don't even need to show a face. Nobody's there to see your face,
But
actually.
have you ever met anybody from this app
Oh yeah,
in real life?
a few actually.
Well, because you told me about this app and I downloaded it and I tried it for like a day and I was like, this is
No,
one too
the thing is,
confusing, and I
Fat-
don't see anybody like
Fat
near
Life is
me.
for people with specific fetishes or kinks or something like that. So if you're just a vanilla guy, you're not gonna really enjoy it.
And I would imagine people are not there necessarily looking for a relationship. They're looking to like scratch an itch of
Yeah.
their sexual kink.
And it's also, I have to say, technically, it's not the most intuitive app. So you kind of have to
I
know
couldn't
how
figure
to
it out.
network. Exactly. You
I
kind of have to know
literally,
how
I
to
was
network
having
through
like
it.
a boomer moment, and I could not figure out how this app was working.
My first 2 days there were like that as well. So you kind of have to find your community, and then you start following people and checking who their friends are and following more people. Or you can try to filter through cities or something like that, but it doesn't allow you to filter more than the cities. So there are a lot of things lacking on the development of that platform. But I still have great fun in it, and I'm not looking for specific sex. Sometimes I'm just looking for artistic inspiration as well. So I follow a lot of like latex people, dominatrixes, stuff like this, even to inspire my art, because it's a community not so focused on sex, having sex. No, it's more like sexual expression mostly, without
And
the sex sometimes.
have you ever met anybody from Instagram, just like that was following you or whatever, and then you like met in real life and started a relationship like this or a hookup or whatever?
I did, yeah. I mean, even somebody that I'm meeting now, we only met via Instagram, and many others as well. Many of my exes we met through Instagram because it's an easier way to meet people as well.
And it's not like so
And you see the
intense
whole
about
profile.
sexually.
No. You see the whole profile. You see the person in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So Instagram also can be considered, any social app in those terms can be considered kind of a dating app.
You know, I have a funny
Depends on how you
story
use it, but yeah.
but about this, which is that like people use Grindr also when they're too afraid to initiate conversation like in real life. You know, that people can be on it at a party and like not go up to someone at the party because they're afraid for that, but they'll message on Grindr. Like this
Yeah,
happened to me.
That's what I said. Introverts, they really excelled with
Yeah,
that.
I was getting cruised so hard at the gym last week. Like it was so obvious. He even came up and like peed next to me at the urinal when I was
Oh my
there.
God.
It was really but he didn't initiate conversation. And then I got home from the gym and he found me on Grindr and messaged me there because he didn't have the balls to do it in person.
I have a story to tell. Okay, so the Norwegian boyfriend that I had, we met when I was in Gran Canaria, in Maspalomas at the hotel.
Maspalomas.
Maspalomas.
Y la con el acento español que me
Claro,
encanta.
claro, cariño, porque no te preocupes, si quieres pasamos en español también, los latinos
So
todos.
sexy, so sexy.
But anyway, let's go back to English. So I was in Maspalomas with my best friend. We were at the Axel Beach, which is the gay hotel of the gay neighborhood of Gran Canaria, and we would see each other. Of course, there were a lot of. It was only a gay hotel, so the circuit gays were there at the pool. There were orgies at the jacuzzi and the saunas and etc. Anyway, it was fun. Did I participate in those? No. But there's another
there's
reason
always
why.
The future to go
No.
back and...
Anyway, in the future, yes, I plan to, but I couldn't back then. So, and I hooked my eyes on this one guy, this one daddy. Well, he falls into the category of daddy. And we were always like staring at each other, but we were too shy to initiate conversation until we were at the breakfast table sitting like the distance from me and our director there. So we were in the same distance that we are now, like 2 meters and a half. And there was this big time sexual tension. So we opened Grindr and we started chatting through Grindr, even though we saw each other in real life first plenty of times. But we started chatting through Grindr. So Grindr was the breaking point.
The conduit,
because we were both shy people, very introverts, so it helped to initiate the conversation there.
It's so helpful because just
and if people don't reply, you know already that you didn't bother them.
Exactly, and that because I don't have the self-confidence to like know if to like go up to someone in real life, you know, like I would never be the person to approach someone in a bar. It's the same reason that my strategy on Grindr is just put myself out there and see what comes to me. So when you're like that, I mean, if I did not have Grindr, I may as well join a Buddhist,
a cult.
You know. No, I may as well like join a monastery because I would never have any sex, you know, if it was not for Grindr. I'm saying because I would never naturally
It's a pretty
meet
privilege.
anybody. No, but it's not. I don't have the self-confidence. So like in the maybe once a year when I would go out to a party and maybe someone then like, you know, approaches me, but you know, I'm not out at a party all the time, but I'm on Grindr all the time, so it's like the door is always open for someone to come in and knock on it.
Boys, you know what to do then. He's gonna wait for you naked again in bed.
I'm trying to do that less often these days, so...
Any other apps that you have tried, or do you think it's relevant to the community?
Like I said, Grindr's my app. You know, it's my ride or die, and
It's my
that's
buddy
the one.
there.
That's the
Oh
one
my
I'm sticking
god.
to.
No, I'm not gonna do that again. Oh boy, I need something queer now.
Anyway, you can find us on Grindr, FetLife, and other accounts.
I'm not gonna give you the names though.
I'm Adrien Field.
And I'm Mistress Velvet for you now.
Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Until the next time, take care, and we'll see you later.
Au revoir.